What if I told you that the person you trusted most would destroy your life in front of 200 people? That they'd smile while doing it? My name is Scarlett Hayes. I'm 28 years old, and I thought I knew what betrayal felt like. I was wrong. 3 months ago, I was planning my own divorce. Now I'm standing in my grandmother's Victorian mansion, watching my best friend Madison get married. I'm her wedding planner. This house? It's mine now. Grandma Rose left it to me when she passed last year. The ceremony just ended. Everything was perfect. Madison looked beautiful in her flowing white dress. Her new husband Cole seemed nice enough. His mother, Mrs. Vivian Blackwood, had been giving me strange looks all day. "Excuse me," a sharp voice cuts through the celebration. I turn around. Mrs. Blackwood is marching toward me, her silver hair pulled back tight. Her eyes are ice cold. "You need to leave," she says loudly. "This is my house now." The room goes quiet. Everyone stares at us. "I'm sorry," I say, confused. "You heard me. Get out. And give me those keys." My heart starts pounding. "Mrs. Blackwood, there's been a mistake. This is my house. I inherited it from my grandmother." She laughs. It's a cruel sound. "That old woman had no right to give away my property. Everyone here knows you manipulated her. You're nothing but a gold digger." The guests start whispering. Some pull out their phones. I can't breathe. This can't be happening. Mrs. Blackwood steps closer. Her voice carries across the entire room. "I'm calling the police. You're trespassing. Have you ever had a place that felt like home in your soul? Somewhere that held all your best memories?" That's what Rose Manor was to me. Every summer of my childhood, I'd run up those grand stairs. Grandma Rose would bake cookies in the huge kitchen. We'd sit on the wraparound porch, watching the sunset paint the sky pink. "Someday, sweet girl," she'd say, "this will all be yours. But only when you need it most." I needed it most after Trevor cheated on me. My husband of 3 years decided our marriage wasn't exciting enough. He found excitement with his secretary. How original. The divorce papers were signed 2 weeks after Grandma Rose's funeral. Perfect timing, right? I threw myself into wedding planning. Helping other people find their happy endings helped me forget my own disaster. Madison was my first big client. She was also my best friend since middle school. "Scarlett," she'd said 6 months ago, "I want the wedding at Rose Manor. It's so romantic." I said yes because I trusted her. Because I thought she cared about me. But something changed after she met Cole's family. She started acting weird. Cold. Distant. I should have seen the warning signs. Madison always wanted what others had. In high school, she'd date the boys I liked. In college, she'd apply for the same jobs I wanted. But this felt different. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. "You don't belong here." I look up at the mansion's windows. Someone's watching me from inside. My own house. Do you know what it feels like when your best friend chooses money over 15 years of friendship? "Madison." I call out, my voice shaking. "Tell her. Tell Mrs. Blackwood this is my house." Madison walks over slowly. Her wedding dress rustles against the hardwood floor. She won't look me in the eyes. The entire wedding party is watching. 200 guests, all holding their phones like weapons. "Madison?" I whisper. She finally looks at me. There's something cold in her expression I've never seen before. "Scarlett," she says, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Maybe it's time you accept reality." My stomach drops. Mrs. Blackwood is right. You're clearly struggling financially after your divorce. We all know it. And honestly, this house is too much for someone like you to handle. "Someone like me?" "We've been talking," Madison continues. "Mrs. Blackwood is willing to buy the house from you. For a fair price. It would solve all your problems." A fair price. I can barely speak. "Madison, this house isn't for sale. It's my inheritance. My home." Mrs. Blackwood steps forward with a fake smile. $50,000. Cash. Today. That's more than generous for someone in your situation. 50,000? This house is worth over $2 million. The guests murmur. Some nod like this makes sense. I understand you're upset, Madison says, patting my arm like I'm a child. But you'll thank us later. You can get a nice little apartment. Start fresh. I stare at her. This person wearing my best friend's face. 15 years, I whisper. 15 years of friendship. And I'm trying to help you, she snaps. But you're too proud to see it. The crowd is getting restless. Someone yells, "Just take the money." I feel tears coming, but I won't cry in front of these people. Security. Mrs. Blackwood calls out. Two men in suits start walking toward me. They're not wedding security. They're private guards. This was planned. Have you ever been so angry that everything around you goes silent? That's what happens as the security guards approach. The wedding guests fade into background noise. All I can hear is my own heartbeat. I hold up my hand. I'll leave, I say quietly. But this isn't over. Mrs. Blackwood smirks. Oh, honey. Yes, it is. I walk through the crowd with my head high. These people don't know me. They don't know what I've been through. They see a divorced woman in a cheap dress and assume I'm desperate. Let them think that. I reach the front door. My front door. The same door where Grandma Rose would wait for me every summer. Scarlett, someone calls. I turn. It's Cole, Madison's new husband. He looks uncomfortable. I'm sorry, he whispers. My mother, she gets ideas in her head. Ideas? This isn't an idea. This is theft. Your wife chose her side, I tell him. He winces, but doesn't argue. I walk to my car. A old Honda that's seen better days. Not exactly the car of someone who owns a $2 million mansion, right? That's what they're all thinking. As I sit in the driver's seat, I watch through the windows. Mrs. Blackwood is talking to a group of guests. She's gesturing toward the house like she already owns it. Madison is laughing at something someone said. Her perfect wedding day, saved by throwing away her oldest friendship. My phone starts buzzing. Text after text. Saw the video on Instagram. So sorry, girl. OMG, is it true about the house? You should have taken the money. Video? I open Instagram. Someone posted the whole confrontation. It has 300 likes already. The comments make my stomach turn. She's obviously lying about inheriting it. Poor girl. So embarrassing. That old lady probably felt sorry for her. I'm about to turn off my phone when I see something that stops my blood cold. A comment from someone named V Blackwood 47. Some people will do anything for money. Even lie about dead relatives. Mrs. Vivian Blackwood just publicly accused me of lying about my grandmother's death. For money. What would you do if you found proof that everything you believed was a lie? I drive home to my small apartment across town. It's nothing like Rose Manor, but it's mine. Really mine. I pour a glass of wine and open my laptop. Time to do what I should have done months ago. Research. I type Vivian Blackwood, Portland, Oregon into Google. The results make my blood run cold. News article from 2019. Local charity treasurer under investigation for missing funds. The photo shows a younger Mrs. Blackwood shaking hands with the mayor. The article mentions Golden Years Foundation, a charity for elderly care. Grandma Rose volunteered there for 20 years. I dig deeper. More articles. The investigation was dropped due to lack of evidence. Mrs. Blackwood resigned quietly, but $50,000 was never recovered. My hands are shaking as I search for more information. I find a Facebook group called Golden Years Victim Support. 12 members. All elderly people or their families. All talking about money that went missing from the charity. All mentioning Vivian Blackwood's name. I request to join the group and continue searching. Then I find something that makes me drop my wine glass. A real estate search for Rose Manor. Someone has been researching the property value for months. The search is traced back to an IP address registered to V. Blackwood. She's been planning this since before Madison even got engaged. My phone rings. Madison's name flashes on the screen. I almost don't answer, but curiosity wins. Scarlett. Madison's voice is shaky. We need to talk. Now you want to talk? Please. Meet me at Murphy's Cafe in an hour. Alone. Why would I? Because, Madison whispers, Mrs. Blackwood isn't who you think she is. And I'm in way over my head. The line goes dead. I stare at my laptop screen, at the missing money, at the investigation, at the months of property research. Then I walk to my bedroom and open my closet. On the top shelf, there's a shoebox I haven't touched since the funeral. Inside are all of Grandma Rose's personal papers that the lawyers didn't need, including a thick envelope marked emergency use only for my Scarlett. In Grandma Rose's careful handwriting, there's one more line. If Vivian Blackwood ever comes for what's mine. Have you ever opened a letter that changed everything you thought you knew about someone you loved? My hands tremble as I tear open Grandma Rose's envelope. Inside are photocopied bank statements, handwritten notes, and newspaper clippings. All about Vivian Blackwood. The first document makes me gasp. It's a letter from 2018, addressed to the Golden Years Foundation Board. In Grandma Rose's neat handwriting, I have reason to believe our treasurer is stealing from vulnerable families. She knew. She knew everything. I keep reading. Grandma Rose documented everything for 3 years. Every suspicious transaction. Every elderly person who complained about missing donations. Every time Vivian manipulated board meetings. There's a list of names. 12 families. All lost money that was supposed to help with medical bills or nursing home costs. The Henderson family, $3,200 for cancer treatment. The Martinez family, $1,800 for wheelchair accessibility. The Chin family, $2,400 for home care services. Vulnerable people. Trusting people. People like Grandma Rose. At the bottom of the pile, I find something that makes my heart stop. A bank record showing a $15,000 deposit into Vivian Blackwood's personal account. The same day the Henderson family was told their assistance request was denied. But there's more. A handwritten note from Grandma Rose dated 6 months before she died. Vivian came to visit today. She said she knows about my investigation. She offered to forget everything if I sign over Rose Manor to her in my will. She said if I don't, she'll make sure everyone thinks I'm the one who stole the money. That I'm just a confused old woman making up stories. My grandmother was being blackmailed, and she never told anyone. I flip the page and find one final note. I'm leaving everything to Scarlett. Vivian will come for it eventually. When she does, use these papers. Show the world who she really is. Suddenly, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Check your email.
Now.
A friend. What if the person trying to destroy you just gave you the weapon to destroy them first? I run to my laptop and open my email. There's a message from Detective Ray Morrison at Portland, Gov. Ray Morrison. I remember him from high school. He was 2 grades ahead of me. Always said he wanted to be a cop. Scarlett heard about what happened at the wedding through mutual friends. If you have time, I'd like to talk. I work white-collar crime now. Some things about today don't add up.
Call me tomorrow.
Ray. He includes his direct number. A detective. A real detective wants to talk to me. I pick up my phone and dial before I lose my nerve. Morrison. Ray? It's Scarlett Hayes. From Jefferson High. Scarlett. I was hoping you'd call tonight.
Listen, I saw the video online.
Something about that woman's behavior bothered me. I did some digging. My heart pounds. What kind of digging? The kind where I found out Vivian Blackwood has been under investigation 3 separate times in the past 5 years. Different charities. Same pattern. Money goes missing. Investigation starts. She disappears quietly. I grip the phone tighter. Ray, I found evidence. Papers my grandmother left me. Bank records. Proof she was stealing from Golden Years Foundation. Silence on the other end. How much proof? He asks finally. Enough to put her in prison. Scarlett, if what you're saying is true, this isn't just about your house anymore. She's hurt a lot of people. Elderly people who trusted her. I think about the list of names. The stolen medical money. The families who went without help while Vivian Blackwood bought expensive clothes and jewelry. What do we do? I ask. We build a case. But I need you to be careful. If she's desperate enough to steal your house in front of 200 people, she's desperate enough to do worse. As if on cue, my apartment's security buzzer rings. I freeze. Ray, someone's at my door. Don't answer it. Look through the peephole first. I creep to the front door and peer through the tiny window. Mrs. Blackwood is standing in my hallway. She's not alone. Ray, I whisper into the phone. She's here. With two men I don't recognize. Stay on the line. Do not open that door. The buzzer rings again. Longer this time. More demanding. Then I hear Vivian's voice through the door, sweet as poison. Scarlett, dear, I know you're in there. We need to have a little chat about those papers you took. Have you ever realized that everything you thought was coincidence was actually a carefully planned trap? How does she know about the papers? I whisper to Ray. Hidden cameras? Someone following you?
Doesn't matter right now.
Just don't open the door. Mrs. Blackwood knocks again. Scarlett, I'm not leaving until we talk. You're making this much harder than it needs to be. I peek through the peephole again. The two men with her look like private security. Big guys in dark suits. I have a proposal, she continues. One that benefits both of us. Ray's voice is sharp in my ear. She's scared, Scarlett. People who aren't scared don't show up at your apartment at 9 p.m. with muscle. I think about Madison's phone call. About her shaky voice saying she was in over her head. What if Madison was trying to warn me? Mrs. Blackwood, I call through the door. Whatever you want to discuss can wait until tomorrow. I'm afraid it can't, dear. You see, I know about your little research session tonight. And I know what you found in that shoebox. My blood turns to ice. She's been watching me. Or having me watched. You're trespassing, I say. I'm calling the police. She laughs. Go ahead. Tell them you have stolen property that belongs to me. Tell them about the forged documents your grandmother left you. Forged documents?
What is she talking about?
That's right, sweetie. Those bank records? Those letters? All fake. Your senile grandmother made them up because she was confused about reality. Happens to old people all the time. Ray is talking rapidly in my ear. She's lying.
Keep her talking.
I'm tracing this call and sending backup. Mrs. Blackwood, I say louder. My grandmother wasn't senile. Those documents are real. Are they? Because I have witnesses who will testify that Rose Hayes was showing signs of dementia for months before she died. Paranoid delusions. Making up stories about people stealing money. My heart sinks. Could she really have people who would lie for her? I also have security footage, she continues, of you breaking into the charity office last month. Taking files that didn't belong to you. I never broke into anything. But would anyone believe me? Here's my final offer, she says. Give me those fake documents and sign over the house deed. I'll give you $75,000 and we all forget this happened. You get to keep your reputation. And if I don't, then tomorrow morning, the police get anonymous tips about your theft and fraud. Your divorce lawyer gets copies of forged documents you created to steal an inheritance. And every person at that wedding gets proof that you manipulated a confused old woman. Ray's voice is urgent. Backup is 5 minutes out. Keep her talking. But Mrs. Blackwood isn't done. Oh, and Scarlett? That friend of yours, Madison? She's pregnant with my grandchild. And she knows exactly what happens to people who cross me. The hallway goes quiet. Then I hear Madison's voice, shaky and scared. Scarlett? Please. Just give her what she wants. I can't. We can't afford for this to get worse. What would you do if your worst enemy threatened the people you love most? Madison. I press my face against the door. Are you okay? She's fine, Mrs. Blackwood answers instead. As long as everyone makes smart choices. Ray's voice crackles in my ear. 2 minutes out. Stay calm. My mind races. Madison is pregnant. She sounded terrified. What has Mrs. Blackwood done to her? I want to talk to Madison alone. I call out. That's not how this works, dear. I make a decision that could change everything. Actually, Mrs. Blackwood, I think you're right. My grandmother probably was confused toward the end. Maybe these documents aren't real. Ray hisses in my ear. What are you doing? I keep talking. I mean, who would I be to question someone as respected as you? Someone who's donated so much to charity over the years. Silence from the hallway. That's very mature of you, Scarlett. I'll give you the papers. And I'll sign whatever you need me to sign. But I want something in return. You're hardly in a position to make demands. I want to host a charity event at Rose Manor before I sign it over.
One last goodbye.
For my grandmother's memory. I can practically hear her thinking through the door. What kind of event? A fundraiser. For elderly care. I'll invite everyone who knew Grandma Rose. All her friends from Golden Years Foundation. The people she volunteered with for 20 years. Ray whispers. Brilliant. Get them all in one room. We'll raise money for the families who need help with medical bills. I continue. Make it a real celebration of her life. More silence. And after the event, I'll sign over the house and give you all the documents. Every single one. The lock on my door starts turning. I freeze. I never heard anyone pick the lock. Actually, Mrs. Blackwood's voice is right outside now. I think we'll discuss the details inside. Locks are so easy to get past when you have the right tools. Ray shouts in my ear. They're breaking in. Get to your bathroom and lock the door. But it's too late. My front door swings open. Mrs. Blackwood steps inside, like she owns the place. Behind her, Madison looks pale and scared. The two men in suits follow. Now then, Mrs. Blackwood says, looking around my small apartment with disgust, let's talk about this charity event of yours. She walks to my coffee table where Grandma Rose's documents are spread out. And let's discuss these interesting papers you found. She picks up the bank records with her perfectly manicured nails. Then she rips them in half. Oops, she says with a smile. How clumsy of me. I watched 3 years of my grandmother's careful investigation flutter to the floor in pieces. Don't worry, Mrs. Blackwood continues. I brought copies of the real documents. The ones that show your grandmother's declining mental state. The ones that prove you forged these silly papers. She pulls out a manila folder. Would you like to see what the police will find when they search your apartment tomorrow? Have you ever watched someone plant evidence that could destroy your life right in front of your eyes? Mrs. Blackwood opens her manila folder like she's revealing a royal decree. Bank statements, she says, pulling out papers, showing large cash deposits to your account over the past year. Payments for taking care of a confused elderly woman. My mouth drops open. Those aren't real, aren't they? They have your account number, your signature. Very convincing. She sets them on my coffee table next to the torn pieces of Grandma Rose's real evidence. Then there's this. She pulls out another document, a psychiatric evaluation of your grandmother, stating she suffered from severe dementia and paranoid delusions. That's impossible. Grandma Rose was sharp as a tack until the day she died. According to Dr. Franklin Mitchell, she was showing signs of cognitive decline for over a year. Poor thing was convinced people were stealing from her charity, making up wild stories about trusted community members. Madison speaks up weakly. Scarlett, maybe you should just. Quiet, Mrs. Blackwood snaps at her. Madison flinches like she's been hit. Ray's voice is barely audible in my ear. Backup is here. Keep her talking 30 more seconds. Mrs. Blackwood continues her performance. And finally, we have testimony from several witnesses who saw you taking advantage of a vulnerable woman. She pulls out signed statements. Mrs. Henderson from down the street. Mr. Chun from the grocery store. Even Father Murphy from St. Mary's Church. All concerned about how you isolated poor Rose from her friends in her final months. Each name hits me like a physical blow. These are all people who knew Grandma Rose. People who cared about her. People who would never say these things. Unless they were scared.
How?
I whisper. How what, dear? How did you get them to lie for you? Mrs. Blackwood's smile is ice cold. People will do amazing things when they're properly motivated. Mrs. Henderson's husband needs expensive heart medication. Mr. Chen's granddaughter needs college tuition money. Father Murphy's church needs a new roof. She's been buying witnesses, bribing good people with their own desperate needs. Of course, if certain documents were to disappear and certain house deeds were to be signed over, I might find it in my heart to help these struggling families with their financial burdens. I look at Madison. She's staring at the floor, tears in her eyes. Madison, I say gently, is this what you wanted? For your child to grow up knowing their grandmother is. Don't, Mrs. Blackwood cuts me off. Madison made her choice. She chose her family's security over her old friendship. Very wise. Suddenly, there's a loud knock on my door. Portland Police. Open up. Mrs. Blackwood's eyes widen in surprise. Expecting someone dear? She asks, but her voice isn't as confident anymore. The knock comes again, louder. Police. We have reports of a break-in. Mrs. Blackwood looks at her two men. They're both reaching inside their jackets. Now, she says quickly. Let's all stay calm. I'm sure this is just a misunderstanding. But I can see panic creeping into her eyes. Because she just realized something. If the police are here, someone called them. And it wasn't her. The door handle turns, and Detective Ray Morrison steps into my apartment with 3 uniformed officers behind him. Evening, Mrs. Blackwood, he says calmly. Mind if we have a chat? Have you ever seen someone's entire world collapse in 30 seconds? Mrs. Blackwood's face goes white as chalk. The 2 men in suits freeze like deer in headlights. Detective Morrison, she says, forcing a smile. What a surprise. I was just visiting dear Scarlett to discuss a real estate matter. Ray looks around my destroyed apartment. Papers scattered everywhere. My grandmother's torn documents on the floor. Real estate matter? He picks up one of the fake bank statements Mrs. Blackwood brought. Is that what you call breaking and entering these days? Breaking and entering? I was invited in. Ray looks at me. I shake my head. Scarlett, he says gently, did you invite Mrs. Blackwood into your apartment tonight?
No.
She picked the lock. One of the uniformed officers steps forward. Ma'am, we're going to need you to put your hands where we can see them. Mrs. Blackwood laughs. It sounds desperate now instead of cruel. This is ridiculous. I'm a respected member of this community. I donate to charities. I volunteer at church functions. Yeah, Ray says, pulling out his handcuffs. About those charities. Madison finally speaks up, her voice barely a whisper. She made me come here. She said if I didn't help her, she'd make sure Cole lost his job at the bank. She has connections everywhere. Mrs. Blackwood spins around, fury in her eyes. You stupid girl. Keep your mouth shut. But Madison keeps talking, tears streaming down her face. She's been planning this for months. Ever since she found out Cole was dating me. She researched Scarlett's family. She knew about the inheritance before Grandma Rose even died. Ray nods to the officers. They move toward Mrs. Blackwood's 2 men. Gentlemen, I'm going to need to see some ID. And an explanation for why you're in this apartment. The bigger man reaches inside his jacket. Slowly, Ray warns, his hand moving to his weapon. The man pulls out a wallet instead of a gun. But Mrs. Blackwood sees her chance. She lunges for the manila folder on my coffee table. The one with all her fake evidence. Those documents prove everything, she shouts, grabbing the papers. Scarlett Hayes is a fraud and a thief. But Ray is faster. He grabs her wrist before she can destroy anything else. Vivian Blackwood, you're under arrest for breaking and entering, harassment, attempted fraud, and conspiracy. As the handcuffs click around her wrists, Mrs. Blackwood's mask finally slips completely. You have no idea who you're dealing with, she screams. I have friends in high places. I'll destroy all of you. Your friends in high places are about to learn some very interesting things about you, Ray says calmly. He turns to me as the officers lead Mrs. Blackwood away. Scarlett, we found something else tonight. Something you need to know. He pulls out his phone and shows me a photo. It's a document I've never seen before.
A will.
Dated just 2 weeks before Grandma Rose died. We found this in Mrs. Blackwood's car, Ray explains. It's a forged will leaving everything to her instead of you. My hand starts shaking. She was going to use it after the charity event. After she got you to sign over the real house. Madison gasps. She would have had both? The real inheritance and the fake will as backup. Ray nods grimly. And 12 families would have never gotten justice for what she stole from them. As Mrs. Blackwood's voice fades down the hallway, still shouting threats, Ray puts his hand on my shoulder. This isn't over yet, Scarlett. She's right about having connections. And desperate people do dangerous things. What would you do if the person who saved you turned out to need saving too? The next morning, I wake up to 17 missed calls. All from Cole. Madison's new husband sounds panicked when I call him back. Scarlett, thank God. We need to meet.
Now.
It's about my mother. Cole, she's in jail. It's over. No, it's not. She made bail 2 hours ago. My blood runs cold. How is that possible? She has a lawyer. A good one. He's claiming police harassment and illegal search. They let her out pending investigation. I sit down hard on my couch. The same couch where she threatened me last night. There's more, Cole continues. She's not just angry. She's terrified. And terrified people don't think straight. 20 minutes later, Cole and Madison sit across from me at Murphy's Cafe. Madison looks exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes. I'm sorry, she says immediately. I'm so sorry, Scarlett. I should have told you everything from the beginning. Tell me now. Cole takes a deep breath. My mother has been stealing money for years. Not just from charities. From individuals. Elderly people who trusted her. How long have you known? Since I was in college. She paid for my tuition with money that didn't belong to her. When I confronted her, she said I could either accept it or watch her go to prison. Madison grabs his hand. She's been holding it over him ever since. Every job he's gotten, every promotion, she's threatened to destroy his career by exposing where his college money came from. I stare at them. So you've both been trapped.
For years, Cole admits.
And when I started dating Madison, Mom saw an opportunity. She researched Madison's friends and family. Found out about your inheritance. She made us get married at your house on purpose? Madison nods, crying now. She said it was the perfect setup. Make you look unstable in front of witnesses. Get you to sell the house cheap out of desperation. But the wedding was beautiful. You looked happy. I was happy, Madison whispers, for about 3 hours. Until she pulled me aside and told me exactly what would happen if I didn't play along. Cole leans forward. Scarlett, there's something else. Something the police don't know yet. He pulls out his phone and shows me a text message. From his mother, sent an hour ago. If I go down, I'm taking everyone with me, including your pregnant wife. Madison's hand goes to her stomach instinctively. She knows people, Cole explains. Dangerous people. She's used them before to intimidate witnesses. What kind of people? The kind who make problems disappear. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. The text makes my hands shake. Having a nice morning, Scarlett? Enjoying your victory? Don't get too comfortable.
V.
Cole sees my face. What is it? I show them the message. Madison starts crying harder. She's never going to stop. Even if she goes to prison, she'll find a way to hurt us. Maybe not, I say quietly. They both look at me. What if we don't wait for her to come after us? What do you mean?
Cole asks.
I think about Grandma Rose's papers. About the 12 families Mrs. Blackwood hurt. About all the people she's terrified into silence over the years. What if we give her something bigger to worry about than revenge? My phone rings. Detective Ray. Scarlett, we have a problem. Mrs. Blackwood's lawyer is claiming the evidence we found was planted. He's saying you and I conspired to frame her. Can he prove that? He doesn't have to prove it. He just has to create reasonable doubt. And he's very good at his job. I look at Madison and Cole. At their scared faces. At the future they're trying to build for their unborn child. Ray, I say into the phone. What if I told you I had an idea that would give us evidence even her lawyer can't explain away? I'd say I'm listening. How do you feel about charity events? Have you ever set a trap so perfect that your enemy walks right into it with a smile? 1 week later, Rose Manor is buzzing with activity. The charity event is tonight. Justice for Golden Years, a fundraiser for the elderly families Mrs. Blackwood stole from. Every major news station in Portland will be here. The mayor, city council members, everyone who ever worked with the Golden Years Foundation, including Mrs. Vivian Blackwood. Her lawyer insisted she attend to prove her innocence and show the community she has nothing to hide. I'm in the kitchen with Madison, arranging flowers. She's been helping me all week, trying to make up for everything that happened. Are you sure this will work? She asks nervously. It has to. Cole walks in from the main hall. The sound system is ready. The cameras are positioned. Ray's people are in place. Detective Ray enters through the back door, dressed like catering staff. Mrs. Blackwood just pulled up, he reports. She brought her lawyer and 2 bodyguards. Bodyguards? She's scared, Scarlett. Scared people make mistakes. Through the kitchen window, I watch Mrs. Blackwood get out of a black town car. She's wearing an expensive blue dress and her fakest smile. She thinks she's walking into a trap for me. She has no idea. Places, everyone. I whisper. The next hour passes in a blur. Guests arrive. Reporters set up their cameras. The families Mrs. Blackwood hurt gather in small groups, sharing their stories. Mrs. Henderson, whose cancer treatment money was stolen. Mr. Chun, who couldn't afford his granddaughter's school clothes. The Martinez family, who had to sell their car to pay for their father's wheelchair. All here. All ready to tell their truth. Mrs. Blackwood works the room like a politician. Shaking hands. Posing for photos. Playing the role of innocent community leader. Ladies and gentlemen, I announce from the small stage we set up. Thank you for coming tonight. Before we begin the formal program, I'd like to invite someone special to say a few words. Mrs. Blackwood's lawyer whispers something in her ear. She nods and walks toward the stage. The crowd applauds politely. Thank you, Scarlett, she says, taking the microphone. It's wonderful to see the community come together like this. She looks directly at the news cameras. I want everyone to know that despite recent false accusations, I remain committed to helping those in need. The Golden Years Foundation was like family to me. Murmurs from the crowd. Some people have suggested I took money that didn't belong to me. These accusations come from forged documents and confused elderly witnesses who don't remember events clearly. Mrs. Henderson stands up slowly from her chair. I remember clearly, she says, her voice carrying across the silent room. Mrs. Blackwood's smile falters. Mrs. Henderson, I understand you're upset about your husband's medical bills, but you promised us $3,000 for his cancer treatment, Mrs. Henderson continues. I have the paperwork, signed by you, but when we went to collect it, you said there was no money left in the fund. The cameras turned toward Mrs. Henderson. That same week, I saw you driving a new Mercedes. Mrs. Blackwood's face goes red. That's completely. Mr. Chin stands up. You took $1,800 meant for my granddaughter's school supplies. The Martinez family stands together. $2,400 for wheelchair accessibility. Gone. One by one, 12 families stand. 12 families with proof. 12 families who aren't afraid anymore. Mrs. Blackwood grabs the microphone tighter. These people are confused. They've been coached. This is all a setup. Detective Ray steps out from behind the catering table. Actually, Mrs. Blackwood, you're right. This is a setup. The crowd gasps. Ray continues. A setup designed to get you to confess on camera to multiple counts of embezzlement and fraud. Mrs. Blackwood's eyes go wide as she realizes what's happening. Every word she's said tonight has been recorded by every news station in the city. You just admitted on live television that these families have legitimate claims against you, Ray explains calmly. Claims you've been denying for years. Mrs. Blackwood looks around frantically. Her bodyguards are blocked by uniformed police officers who just entered the room. Her lawyer is already packing up his briefcase. This is entrapment, she screams into the microphone. I was set up. Yes, I say, walking onto the stage. Just like you set up my grandmother. Just like you set up Madison and Cole. Just like you set up every family in this room. The crowd erupts in applause. Mrs. Blackwood drops the microphone and tries to run. But Detective Ray is already there with handcuffs. Vivian Blackwood, you're under arrest. Again. But this time, it's going to stick. As they lead her away, she turns back toward me one last time. "This isn't over," she shouts. "I'll find a way to." The door closes behind her. And for the first time in months, I can breathe. What if the biggest victory of your life came with a gift you never saw coming? 3 months later, I'm sitting in a lawyer's office downtown. Not for Mrs. Blackwood this time. She was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison. Her assets were seized to pay back the family she stole from. Justice, finally. No, today I'm here for something completely different. "Miss Hayes," the lawyer says, sliding a thick envelope across his desk, "this was left in our care by your grandmother with specific instructions." I recognize Grandma Rose's handwriting on the outside. "For Scarlett, when the danger passes." Inside is a deed to property I've never heard of. Villa Rosa, Tuscany, Italy. "Your grandmother purchased this property 20 years ago," the lawyer explains. "She said someday you'd need a place to start fresh. Somewhere no one could find you if things got bad." I stare at the photos. A small stone cottage surrounded by olive trees and vineyards. It's the most beautiful place I've ever seen. There's more. He hands me a bank statement, an account in my name with enough money to live comfortably for years. "How is this possible?" "Your grandmother was a very wise investor, Miss Hayes. She also sold some property in California that you didn't know she owned." My phone buzzes. A text from Madison. "Baby kicked for the first time today. Cole felt it too. We're thinking of naming her Rose. Hope that's okay." I smile and text back. "Grandma would love that." Madison and I are rebuilding our friendship slowly. Trust takes time to repair. But seeing her stand up to Mrs. Blackwood at the charity event showed me she's still the person I grew up with. Just scared. Like so many of us. Cole got a promotion at the bank after his mother's arrest. Turns out, standing up to corruption is good for your career. Detective Ray stops by sometimes. We've become good friends. He's working on a book about elderly fraud cases. The charity event raised over $200,000. Every family got their money back, plus extra for the pain they endured. But the best part? Mrs. Blackwood's house was seized by the court. It's being turned into a community center for senior citizens.
Perfect.
I look at the photos of the Italian cottage again. For the first time since Trevor left me, since Grandma Rose died, since that horrible wedding day, I feel like I can dream about the future. Maybe I'll expand my wedding planning business internationally. Maybe I'll write about what happened. Maybe I'll just sit in an olive grove and heal. The lawyer clears his throat. "There's one more thing, Miss Hayes." He hands me a letter in Grandma Rose's handwriting. "My dearest Scarlett," it begins, "if you're reading this, then you've survived something terrible and come out stronger. I always knew you would. The cottage in Italy is yours to use however you need. Rest there. Start over there. Find love there. But most importantly, forgive there. Forgiveness isn't about letting people hurt you. It's about refusing to let their hurt define you. I'm proud of you, sweet girl. Now go live the life you deserve. With all my love, Grandma Rose." I fold the letter carefully and put it in my purse. Tomorrow, I'm flying to Italy. Not to run away from my life, but to run toward it. Have you ever realized that sometimes the worst thing that happens to you is actually the best thing that could have happened? 6 months later, I'm standing on the terrace of Villa Rosa, watching the sun set over the Tuscan hills. My wedding planning business, Rose Manor Events, now operates in 3 countries. Turns out having your story go viral internationally is actually great for business. Who knew? I'm planning a wedding tomorrow for a couple from Germany. They specifically requested me because they heard about the woman who fought back and won. My phone rings. It's Madison. "Scarlett, baby Rose took her first steps today." I can hear Cole cheering in the background. "Send me a video immediately," I demand, laughing. "Already done. Check your email." And guess what? What? Cole got another promotion. They made him regional manager. Turns out, honesty and integrity are exactly what the bank was looking for. And Mrs. Blackwood? Still in prison. Her lawyer tried to appeal, but with all that video evidence from the charity event. Madison's voice gets serious. Scarlett, I need to tell you something. What? I'm sorry. I know I've said it before, but I need you to really hear me. I was a coward. I chose what felt safe over what was right. And I almost lost the best friend I've ever had. I look out at the olive trees Grandma Rose planted 20 years ago, somehow knowing I'd need this place someday. Madison, we were both doing what we thought we had to do to survive. The difference is, you found your courage when it mattered most. I love you, Scarlett. I love you too. After we hang up, I pour a glass of local wine and open my laptop. Detective Ray wants me to write a book about what happened. Elder fraud and the fight for justice, or something like that. But tonight, I'm working on something different. A blog post for other women going through divorce. About starting over. About finding strength you didn't know you had. The doorbell rings. I'm not expecting anyone, but in a small Italian village, neighbors drop by all the time. I open the door and freeze. It's a man about my age with kind eyes and an easy smile. He's holding a bottle of wine and speaking very fast Italian.
I hold up my hand.
English. He switches languages smoothly. You're the American who bought Villa Rosa. I'm Marco. I live next door. My grandmother sent me with wine to welcome you properly to the neighborhood. His English has the most charming accent I've ever heard. I'm Scarlett, and your grandmother didn't have to. She insisted. She says any woman who can restore a place this beautiful must have excellent taste. He hands me the wine. Our fingers brush for just a moment. Would you like to stay for dinner? I hear myself asking. I'm making pasta. Well, attempting to make pasta. His laugh is warm. I would love to. And perhaps I can teach you the proper technique. As we cook together in Grandma Rose's kitchen, my kitchen now, Marco tells me about his work as a photographer. About traveling the world documenting small communities. What brought you to Italy? He asks. I think about everything that led me here. The betrayal. The fight. The victory. The healing. Someone once told me that sometimes you have to lose everything to find out who you really are, I say. And who are you? I smile, stirring the pasta sauce. I'm someone who doesn't give up. Someone who protects the people she loves. Someone who believes in justice. I pause. And someone who's finally ready to start a new chapter. Marco raises his wine glass. To new chapters. To new chapters. As we eat dinner on the terrace under a blanket of stars, I think about Mrs. Blackwood and her prison cell. About the families who got their money back. About Madison and Cole building a life for their daughter. About Grandma Rose, who somehow knew exactly what I'd need to survive the worst thing that ever happened to me, and turn it into the best thing. Sometimes the people who try to tear us down just clear the path to where we were always meant to go. I look at Marco, who's telling a funny story about his grandmother's attempts to set him up with every single woman in the village. Maybe, just maybe, some of us are meant to go there together.
The end.
But also, somehow, the beginning.